right, welcome to AppCentric, the only podcast you need to stay in the loop of all things app marketing, including design shenanigans.
Design shenanigans.
Design shenanigans. There you go.
That's the strangest introduction.
My name is Javier Galan, Director of Professional Services here at Consult My App, CMA, an app marketing agency
slash consultancy.
Slash consultancy. I'm joined by CMA's founder, CEO, and many more attributes.
Ooh.
Michael Rhodes.
Ooh.
How are you, Mike?
I'm very good. I'm wondering what these additional attributes are.
I ran out of them.
Probably, yeah, exactly. Probably not repeatable on the podcast. I am very good, thank you, Javier.
Fantastic.
And I'm wonderful today, thank you.
Fantastic.
Excited to talk about how we can use Microsoft Paint.
Oh,
Yay.
Dear.
right, I'm off.
All right. So our app marketing podcasts are themed around topics that we cover at CMA, right? So how we help our clients. And today we'll be talking design with our Creative Design Services Director, Meg Evans. How are you, Meg?
I'm good, thank you.
Fine.
I'm good. Pleased to be here.
Yeah.
Shout everything creative because it's the best.
There you go. Well, I think at this point, like
Nice.
we've finished, right? We've done it. We've done
We
it.
should give up.
We've done it. All right, today we're going to be talking about some news and some great topics in the realm of design. There are a couple of topics that hopefully we'll get to in terms of seasonality, a very apt topic considering the Premier League here in the UK for all of us football/soccer lovers.
They do, but they do have seasons in other countries.
Yeah.
As well.
Just in
absolutely.
case you're wondering, seasons are available in other countries.
Absolutely. Okay. Including the NFL. We work with some American
Some American brands.
sports brands.
And they do have seasons in other
And they
countries.
do have seasons as well in other countries. It's not a unique
crazy.
thing to the Premier League. Absolutely. We also
Just seasons based on sports in the UK and US,
I
apparently.
think it's just the ones that Javier's excited about.
these are the ones that I just managed to mention before you rudely intervened. We also have the Olympics and so on. But anyway,
And
seasonality.
seasons like weather. Everybody has weather. Let's not
Saying it.
forget that.
All right, so how we do that with app marketing, that's a mystery to me, the weather. But seasonality...
It's in a mystery. Christmas, for instance, and snow, you make your
I mean, I have to
screenshot
say
snow
the
themed.
snow, he makes a point on the
Yeah,
on the snow.
exactly.
You
I'm
managed
worried.
to like
Are you
get yourself
sure
out
you
of
work
the
for CMA?
out of the hole. And other topics as well, if we manage to get there with AI in design. But first, how's your week, Megan?
Yeah, it's been good. Super busy. So
It's a
busy.
lie. It's a lie. She always said she's busy.
No, I genuinely think it's like the past 2 months have been kind of like record breaking since I've started with CMA in terms of how like busy and the number of clients we have right now. It's a good thing. Like I'm not complaining because I'd rather
we've got
that.
some amazing brands with us. Yeah.
I would much rather that. And they're exciting brands that even like as a kid wanting to go into a creative career, I always wanted to like work with or be a part of a similar brand like it. So that's exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we
Absolutely.
always ask what's good and what's tricky for you.
Yeah.
So would that be a tricky, a good, or do you have something for us?
Tricky, I definitely do have something. I would say at the minute there's a couple of brands that we have that have started with us but are also in the middle of a brand revamp.
Mm-hmm.
But they still want to like start creating assets with us.
Yeah, of course.
And that's like, it's tricky. It's not like the end of the world. It just means that we kind of almost evolve with them.
Yep.
And sometimes we even end up giving them ideas for how they could use their branding in different ways. But yeah, you'll kick off with the client and they'll be like, oh, yeah, we need to send you the brand guidelines, but they're not quite finished yet. And you kind of go, oh gosh, here we go.
You can help shape the brand guidelines.
Yeah, I know. But when it's like a big brand and there's lots of like rules and regulations, but they also themselves aren't 100% sure on what those rules and regulations are definitely going to be or how they're going to change, you kind of then you still want to create beautiful assets that look part of this new evolution.
So the
But,
challenge is
yeah.
that it's quite a dynamic environment, it's fair to say. I think
Yeah.
everything app-related seems to be dynamic, that nothing ever stays the same for more than a few
Absolutely.
weeks.
Yeah, and I think like some assets might not have even been necessarily created yet, so they might even change completely the way their photography styling might be, or completely change the way if they have illustrative assets that they use, they might have wanted to change that illustration style.
Yeah.
Should say we've got a very good illustrator here with us today, actually.
Ah.
If you've ever had a drink of a certain gin, you will have seen Megan's creative wonderment, or have you seen one of our slides?
Yes.
I suspect
yeah.
more. That's a good question. How many people have seen our slide versus drunk that gin and seen the label of it? I wonder which one's higher.
Maybe you should go as well to the pub later and see if we can find it.
Yeah,
and
let's
drink it up.
combine the
Yeah,
two.
there you
In
go.
fact, let's just ask people in the pub, do you recognise this gin? Do you recognise these slides? And then we'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a scientific
Yeah.
measure,
We
isn't
always take very weird detours. Yeah.
it? Sorry.
I love a weird detour. But yeah, well, that leads me on to me understanding and the position that these brands are in, because we've been in the middle of a rebrand before. So I can kind of empathize, which I think is helpful. Like we went to APS.
That's the App Promotion Summit, just in
Yes.
case anyone's wondering.
At Promotion Summit in the middle, like halfway through our rebrand, and we wanted to have banners and stuff, but we didn't want it to be in the old brand.
Yeah.
But we hadn't finished the new brand yet, so we kind of had to
See,
do...
I didn't hate the old brand. I thought it was okay. It
Oh,
was quite
boy.
nice. Cost me a whole £250.
I think that could be a whole podcast in
Yeah,
itself.
no, we touched upon it.
We have spoken
touched
in
upon
another
it in a
podcast
previous,
about this, yeah.
episode. But I guess
Yeah.
like those are like challenges that you have to go through, right? And like we are quite experienced now with those, and we can adapt to it
Yeah.
and work with our clients when they're going through those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. So as much as it's tricky and it can kind of mean that you spend a little bit longer thinking about things, or you have to kind of figure out how to use some old things or old assets in new ways to fit their new
I just thought,
branding.
Flexibility.
rehash it. Hash it. Like an asset, but a rehash it. What a great
Okay.
name. Play too much
All right.
coffee.
Woo.
Sorry.
Okay, that's a good good start. Yeah,
Oh my
great,
God.
great. You're the
But
boss,
yeah.
so it's great.
Copywriting.
So that's a tricky one. What's good?
What is good? Well, I would say working on brands and big names that I've always wanted to work with, and the development of my team since working with these big brands, because they have a very specific way of working with lots of big creative teams in-house themselves that they have to get eyes on and approval of these assets. So it's meant that my team have kind of learnt how to work smarter and faster, and I'm loving seeing that whole development.
I like that.
That
efficiency
is
growth.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's awesome.
Working smarter and faster
Yeah.
means I have to hire less people.
Yeah,
Tick,
I'm
tick,
really
tick.
big on the working smarter and faster. I try not to say smarter, not harder, because like you want to work hard. but-
No, exactly. Yeah, you're not lounging around.
Yeah, we're not
Right.
lounging around, but I'm very big on like the efficiency and how we can create assets quickly, but still to the perfect level.
And talking of efficiencies, how about we move on to the next section?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the news, right? And I'm sure that you guys are big users of Photoshop.
Yes.
I use Photoshop in my own personal capacity,
Wow.
Do you?
right? I have a license. And I suffered what we're gonna talk about now. These early cancellation fees. I don't know if you guys saw the news about, these cancellation fees being like heroin, described as such by one of their employees.
Yeah.
You've gone through like subscriptions in the past. You've used it. You
Yeah.
know how painful
I've
it
been a
is.
sufferer of this myself,
Yeah.
and I agree.
Like,
It's,
So tell us a bit of context. How?
we do use Photoshop a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We use them for mainly more like individual assets that go on, like we actually build out then our final like screenshot sets and final assets in Figma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big lover of Figma, but and it's better with collaboration, so all of us can be in a set at once.
Mhm.
But we have to, there's things that Figma can't do, so we have to use Photoshop and
Right.
the Creative Cloud in general. But I actually got stung by this with my own personal Creative Cloud subscription, and now it's just coming out of my account.
And you can't
And
stop it.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's just
And
like,
there's just no way of...
No, but like, so you've gone through it. I mean, I'm not sure you have because you are a Microsoft you're a
I
Microsoft
don't
Paint
pay for
user.
Microsoft Paint. It's free. It's wonderful. You should try
But like
it.
the thing
Do
is
you not
that
remember
when you
Jim
go
and
through,
Paint it?
oh boy,
I mean, you think of the stuff that artist came up with using Microsoft Paint. It's wonderful.
it's wonderful.
amazing.
I'm sure it's wonderful.
Yeah,
And
love
it's
I'm
that.
not sure clients would appreciate.
No, I'm not suggesting we would do
Love
that.
that
for our
journey
clients.
for him.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
great journey
Yeah.
for you. But for me, it was the same. Like I went at some point and got a license, and you go through it and you see the price and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, like whatever, like
click.
you go through it, and then it's like, oh, hang on a minute, this is an annual, I thought it was a monthly subscription.
It's not clear, is it?
It's not clear.
It's not clear.
And the thing with like the article, basically what it transpired is that someone was saying, yeah, this is how we keep people basically.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah,
keep
he
them addicted
essentially
to
said
it.
we'd lose out on too much revenue.
Well,
Like-
so what they're trying to say, so that's what he said. And
Yeah.
then what the Adobe like higher brains or people, they're basically defending it, saying, no, we only make 0.05 of our revenue through
From-
early
From
cancellation
early
fee.
cancellation. But that's not
But
the
that's
point.
77 million.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
77 million.
That's
Hold on,
still
but
millions.
that's-
And
wait,
how
wait,
about
wait,
the
wait.
peop-
But that's the point. That isn't the point.
That's to
The
stop
point-
you.
The point is they're trying to avoid people doing that.
Of course.
So in their head, they would like to make zero from that and have everybody
course.
keep their subscriptions. So the reason that anybody's doing that is because they are desperate to cancel it. It's like saying we've increased the prison sentence for stealing a loaf of bread to 100 years. But we've only sent 3 people to jail for it. Well, that's because nobody wants to go to jail for 100 years, so they just get stuck and they can't steal the bread. Like it's just, honestly, using that as an argument, it doesn't hold much weight.
No, okay. All right. So for me, like the interesting thing as well is that they're doing what they want legally. When it comes to apps, and here we are to talk about apps, you're limited, of course, by what Apple and Google let you do, which I think in this case, for once, is a positive.
Yeah.
Because you cannot get away with
couldn't
that.
do
you,
that,
you
no,
cannot
absolutely.
tie people to annual terms on a monthly basis. So I think the fact that Adobe are doing it that way, I mean, they know what they're doing, of course.
I also think it's bad as well because like creatives notoriously, especially when they're starting out in the industry, like they're not making much money.
Yeah.
Like that's another factor I think is an important one.
You're
Like,
trying like a little project. You're hoping that that's going to lead to
Yeah.
more projects.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you are left with 11 months. Of,
yeah.
Are we being
Subscription.
positive about Apple Pay and Google Pay and the subscription models that they use in the Play Store?
Yeah,
and App
yeah.
Store?
In this case, I am. It's weird.
This is unusual. Nobody's done
I
that in
know.
the last 10 years.
I know, but
How
at least
refreshing.
they don't let you do these sort of things. They let you do lots of things. Some people abuse it in different
Yeah,
ways,
yeah.
but this is not the way you can abuse it. So Meg, how do what kind of tools would you recommend to someone who's starting in app marketing, an app developer,
Yeah.
and they want to create some lovely screenshots or potentially like an app preview video? How would you go about it? What would you
If
recommend?
you're starting out, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because when I first was
Microsoft Paint.
when I first was starting out, I would have never used. Figma didn't exist then, which is my favourite, as I've mentioned earlier. But I would never have used Canva because I used to think it was like a really basic tool. But the things it can do now is incredible. Like even down to little things like a automatic background remover. In my opinion, that does that better than Photoshop.
Wow.
And Canva has free accounts up to a point. Like you can do like free, use the free service and still do a lot on it. That's the same as Figma. You can get a free personal one that you can use. And then obviously once you grow and you need more people on there, then you do go on to the paid stuff. But then once you get to that point, you will have more projects
you would
and
say
more
that
money coming in.
Today, that would be a place to start with as an app
Absolutely.
developer, app marketer who needs to
Absolutely.
change
For static assets.
statics.
Yeah.
But also these are great tools to use, especially like FigJam, which is part of Figma, for storyboarding. So if you're creating your
Okay.
app preview videos, I always recommend starting with storyboarding.
And I guess for UX as well.
Oh,
UX, UI,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess absolutely. Like Figma is one of the best UX UI tools out there. But also, excellent for storyboarding preview videos and ad videos. Because always recommend doing that first, especially if you're working with clients, so that they can approve all the content and it's looking like the journey that they want you to be showing. But yeah, I would say the Adobe Cloud is best for video.
Watch that subscription trap.
Yeah,
What's that
just be
subscription trap?
careful. Yeah.
Fantastic, awesome. So the CDS team doesn't just create lovely imagery.
Sorry, we should expect CDS.
I mentioned before, creative design
Yes, but
services.
people may have forgotten.
All right, so for
And
you,
then people will be like, what's CDS team?
for you, dear listener,
What is the CDS team? Have you?
CDS. Okay, we can do a quiz if you want.
Go on, quiz. Bing.
Creative designs services.
Ooh.
Ooh, I mentioned it before.
What does
Mike.
ASO stand for?
App Store Optimization.
Oh,
We're gonna run out of
wow,
time. We're gonna
tactic.
run out of time here, Mike. 2 for 2. I'm doing super well. What I was saying is that it's not just about creating assets, statics, or video. We also help clients with UI, UX work. And I wanted to mention the case of Sonos recently. Again, another thing you might have read. How do you, what's your thinking on that? Like the Sonos redesign, the heat that they received, and how they reacted to it.
Silly billies. I mean,
Silly billies.
it's silly billies, isn't it? They just obviously didn't realise that people were utilising certain features or functions that well and just forgot them. And then they released a beta. All the partners went, hold on a minute, where are these pieces missing? And then, oh yeah, we'll put them in by June, and now they're all on the back
And
foot.
did they not want, like, did they think they were above, like, testing? And, like, which...
Oh, no, but they just tested the features they built.
Yeah, but some
not the
people
ones they
can't
needed.
get those, like, original features back. Like, some of the comments on the article,
Yeah.
they're like, I'm having... Like, I literally can't get these features back.
Well, I mean, it's part testing and part QA should be regression testing. Normally you'd test back, but I think they created a whole new code base.
Yeah.
So I think, it wasn't they just branched off somewhere and they started cutting and dropping all these features. So I don't think the testing
They
would have
probably
picked.
started running out of time as well, and they just wanted to push something live.
But it's an important part of UX, understanding and product analytics, really, understanding the features that people are using. And ideally, in a normal world, you don't drop things that lots of people are using from your product, unless there is a very big reason, it's legal or compliance or something. You want to keep those features in. And I think it was, just an unfortunate mistake. I don't say naivety, but, somebody just didn't think.
But many times, and I've been client side before being agency side, and like many times you just look, or companies look at the products they offer and they say, you know what, like we are moving on from this. Like this is not where we want to be in the future. Like we'll drop it, and some people will be upset about it, but they'll move on. And I think in this case, it was like way too much for people to accept in a way.
I think,
They reinvented a wheel that didn't need reinventing.
Yeah, they reinvented the wheel minus part of the wheel.
Minus the
Basically,
circle.
it's like a
And it just didn't move
3/4
anymore.
a 3/4 wheel which turned so far and got stuck.
Yeah,
mean-
not the best idea. And yeah, when you are dealing with the UX, you need to put yourself into the user's shoes. It's about empathy
Very
of
good
what that user wants, and that was obviously not what they wanted.
Give them what they need,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we move up gears. Is that what you say? You move up gears and talk about App Store related things. One of the news, fairly recent, today is the 5th of August. So it's been around for a couple of months now, but it's an interesting topic to discuss, is the custom store listings on the Play Store. So how people can now...
You mean, obviously CSLs have been around for ages, but
now we're talking abbreviations. Now we are...
What does CSL stand for?
Now we're doing acronyms. I love it.
Do you mean CSL specifically for organic keywords, which has only been around
Correct.
Right. I just
Correct.
wanted to make
That's
sure
a
that
very
people weren't
good
listening
point.
to this
That's
going,
a very good
when
point.
was this, the 5th of August 2021 or something?
That's a very good point. Custom store listings.
Sorry, that was a very odd way of saying
That's why you are
2021.
my co-host,
Yeah,
Mike.
I
That's
know.
why you're my
I
co-host.
said 2021. But anyway, organic
Custom store
keywords
listings.
for
Yeah.
CSL. Or CSL's for
Organic
keywords.
keywords. So, Megan, being a part of the design world, how do you use those? I mean, give us a bit of a flair of how you would use them for different companies.
Well, for different companies.
And first of all, kind of like what it means for an app developer. Like, what does it mean in practice?
Well, it means tailoring screenshot sets essentially to different specific wants or needs, I guess, or specific topics.
Yep.
If that's the right word, I guess. So yeah, and it can work.
I guess just to explain, if someone hasn't heard of these custom store listings per
CSL.
keyword, CSL.
Well, look, you can't use acronyms. And
Okay,
then,
CSL.
so you expect people to know what CDS stands for, but not a globally accepted custom store
We'll take this
listing.
offline, Mike. We'll take this offline. The use of acronyms in podcasting.
Exactly.
But custom store listings
Yeah.
per keyword.
Yeah.
So just for context, for those who haven't come across it so far, when you're on the Play Store, like if you're searching for a term, now you can see different screenshots depending on what the app developer chooses to show. So you can have different sets. If, for instance, you have a casino app and you are searching for bingo terms, you can see a bingo related set of screenshots.
Yeah.
And if you're searching for, let's say, sports betting, then you can see sport related
And we
imagery.
should probably caveat it with this actually only applies to high volume search terms.
Correct.
You
have to
can't
choose-
target them for every term.
That's the
you
interesting
want.
thing in terms of how it works. You cannot just say any keyword, any search that contains this keyword will see this. You have to like wait for it to
You know
appear in your
why
Play
that's
Store
the-
console.
No, that's because Google don't want you touching keyword specific stuff. They will only let you choose which search terms they want because that goes against their ethos. When they changed Google ad campaigns and moved it all away from keyword targeting to black box magic, you know, that's what they were essentially doing. It's like, we don't want you targeting terms by keywords.
Right. So in this case, so I see what you mean, but in this case, what it means is like you go to the Play console, and then you need to choose from the keywords that people have found your app.
Yeah.
And if there's enough volume, then you'll be able to say, oh, best bingo app or bet on football. And then you can select those and show them a specific custom store listing.
Yeah, exactly. But Google will tell you which ones
Of
you
course, the
have
ones,
available.
but
Yeah,
those
yeah.
will be the ones with high volumes, right?
Yeah.
Like, so in this case, like how, like we've been working on this now for 2 months. You've been coming up, your team has been coming up with some great ideas. How do you use them?
Well, I think it's important to note as well that notoriously on the Play Store users research finds that they're not the most explorative. So sometimes I think they're not always going to scroll through all 8 screens. So that means that you're not necessarily going to see if you love bingo and it's a casino app and the bingo screen might be at the end. You might not know that that's a USP that's in there. Whereas if you're typing in about bingo and you're seeing that same branding, but the bingo is right at the front and that is the thing that you're after,
So in
the
theory,
value proposition, the USP, it's going to entice you.
So in theory, you could really, I mean, what you're saying is, without rebuilding a whole screenshot set, you could just change the ordering for the CSLs.
Yeah, you can
It's
do.
low effort.
You can do it. It is low effort, and there's ways around doing it, like or spending loads and loads of time on these assets, so you can reorder. But obviously, you still have to remember like the best practice rules of like the first screenshot, you're going to want your logo in, or if there's some kind of offer, you're going to want that highlighted too.
Yeah,
so,
and a bit of social proofing in there.
Yeah, exactly. So you still like you can even tailor it in such like different ways where obviously the first 2 screens it can say about bingo, but then you can have like the bingo balls.
Yeah.
Like little elements like that. Like we did one about roulette and you had like roulette wheels coming out. Like casino's always fun because there's so many assets and it's almost like more is more. So you can just shove coins everywhere and
But this is sort of what you're talking about here is this sort of concept that I know I've heard you and your team talking about is this intent-driven creatives where you're matching creative to intent.
To the intent. And again, so it doesn't always just have to be casino. It works with pretty much every single vertical you can think of, including even like banking.
Yeah.
Like if someone's looking for money saving expertise
versus like investment
versus
or
investment,
credit cards.
Yeah, like that's where you swap that round and you're showing UI and features of that app that
There
is
we are.
money
It's
saving.
nice low effort, high return.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're doing ourselves out of business. But if you want really high return, then you must use CMA.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and speak to
well,
us and Meg.
we add a little bit of extra sparkle.
Oh,
We're the
that's what
Sparkle
we like.
Squad.
A lot of sparkle.
Yes,
a lot of
exactly.
sparkle.
Not CDS.
So you've seen some good results so far.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Some of the most interesting cases, I think you mentioned something in the travel space, like with the different destinations, the different searches.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have. Can you say client names?
Nah, I think.
Well, I would keep the
let's
names
keep
out
a bit
just
of the
in case.
mystery.
Exactly.
The mystery.
I mean, you can go on our website and see who the clients are.
Yeah,
So I guess it
we've
wouldn't be
had-
like Miss Marple to figure
Yeah,
out who
true.
these are.
We have
yeah.
travel apps that you can do specific destinations and like different. Like if someone's interested in camping and that side of life and the outdoors, you can do specific ones.
They don't want to see 5-star luxury resorts, which is what I want to see. I don't want to see camping.
Yeah, well, I
Really
did,
not a
I
big
did
fan
one
of
that was
camping.
like barns and hot tubs, and I was like,
Ooh,
that's
that
a bit of
sounds
me.
nice.
Yeah.
No, like, that's not quite camping though.
Oh no.
It's like proper glamping, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
style.
Well, I guess the interesting thing is that then you can see the results of that and the conversion rates. It kind of makes sense as well, right? Like it's something that you're not surprised, and clients are not surprised that there are better performing variants when you are showing those who are researching for apps what they're looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a no-brainer. Something we will keep doing,
Yeah.
and that any listener out there
Yeah.
should be thinking about. Like how are we gonna take advantage of
Absolutely.
of
I
that?
mean, look, if you've been using custom product pages, and
Similar
we know they
concept,
work
yeah.
with Apple search ads, and they can drive, up to 15-20% increase in conversion rate. Why are you not using CSLs on not just on your GAC campaigns, but organically?
So
Yeah.
it's a general rule of thumb. Like if I'm looking for anything, I'm gonna want to see something tailored to that for me.
Yeah,
Like everyone will.
Absolutely.
Everyone's gonna appreciate that.
absolutely. All right. I think we're gonna skip the rest of the news for next time because I really want to get. We are running short
There
of
could have been
time.
some really interesting news
Some
in there.
really interesting news, but we're running short of time.
Okay.
And I want to talk about at least one of our topics, and these being the seasonality topic we mentioned before. The NFL starting again, Premier League.
Mike
Many-
wants to talk about snowflakes.
I want to talk about winter.
You want to talk about
and
winter?
summer.
It's
We've been
August,
in a
Mike.
12 well, in
It's
the UK,
August.
we've been in a 12-month winter.
Okay, yeah.
Like
in
nuclear winter just
in
carries on
Australia,
forever.
it's winter. Yeah, you're right.
Well,
I'm not sure about the snowflakes in Australia. Anyway, how do you approach seasonality? It's a topic that I'm sure right now any app marketer will be thinking, not just sports, of course, but we get into the part of the calendar where we're thinking of Black Friday, Cyber
Yeah.
Monday. We've got in the US
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, of
Coming
course,
up, yeah.
different dates, and then we get all the way up to Christmas,
Yep.
New Year's. So I
And
know that keeps you very busy.
And we should add, in China, for instance, we have
Oh,
I found a wonderful case study on our website, and you can have a look for Grab. We can say that because we've
okay.
just launched the case
wait,
study.
the
on
case
it.
studies out
But
there, so
for
yeah.
Lunar New Year.
We also
Lunar
have,
New
Right,
Year, yeah.
We've also done Lunar New Year CPP